All right, my friends. Hey, welcome to another special episode of Heart and Hustle as we are diving into some more of information and happenings around the Global Caravan event that's coming up in November, the Gathering. And I'm so excited to bring you yet another beautiful master teacher. Richelle is here with us from Fremantle, Australia, which is way the hell over there. In fact, it's morning for her. She's having tea. It's evening for me. I'm having wine. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Yes, it's almost like I'm in your future.
Yes, you are in my future. I always knew that about you.
Yes, you always say that.
I knew you the minute I met you. Oh my gosh. So anyway, welcome to this episode. And we get to talk about what Richelle's story is with Global Caravan and her dance history and the event of the Gathering, which is our 5-day event that's coming up in November. We're so excited about that. The virtual event, it's virtual instead of in person. Our first time to do something to this grandiose, which is pretty exciting. And Richelle, thank you for spending some time with me.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for having this wonderful vision to bring this all together, considering the last few years that we've had.
I
Even though
know.
we may not be getting together in person, it's just really beautiful to be able to sort of reconnect again. And I think it's time. It's definitely time. It feels like things are sort of starting to settle. Well, kind of.
Let's see, it's been 2019, 3 years.
2019 since Hawaii.
We had the big event in Hawaii right before COVID,
Yeah.
which was in person and incredible. And
how lucky was that?
I know, right? Oh my God, that was so amazing. And all the events that we've had in the past before that, and then COVID, and then the idea and the opportunities that we've had to come together virtually. Thank you for Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom's been the lifesaver for all of us. I think it's kind of kept us connected face to face. I mean, it's fine to get, chat with someone, but to actually physically see them is a whole different scenario entirely. So yeah.
And through that, we've really learned, how to be able to teach online. When we think of our dance as a community dance where we want to do it together, right? We want to be in person together with that energy, but how we've had to, make shift and learn how to do it like this, like on Zoom. Like, how do we teach this beautiful dance that is this connected community dance online?
That was, I think, the biggest kind of like brain snap thing for me is like when you're in a class, you get immediate reaction back from your students, from the people that are there. So you can actually feel the energy and you can pick it up and you can work with that. So if you're going in one direction and they're not there, then you can kind of turn it around and change it. But with this, it's difficult. I've had problems with Zoom because of internet connectivity.
Sure.
So I've did a lot more Facebook sort of thing. So I wasn't actually able to see people playing with Zoom. So it was almost like you were putting on a one-woman stage performance.
We've become on a whole different method.
Oh, absolutely. It was just like you're a comedian of such kind of thing and doing a stand-up show. And it was just about how you had to really kind of think about engaging with your students and also making it fun, and also trying to think about how do you do that without using that physicality. So it really made you think in a different way, which I was really amazing. It was kind of a gift, really, to be able to do that.
It's totally a gift. It's totally a gift. And I think that it's brought so many of us from around the world back together where we wouldn't have had that opportunity because we couldn't have come in person anyway. Cost efficiency or distance efficiency or time efficiency, whatever. So the fact that we can do this sort of thing and we can have recorded pieces of it and have replays so that even if you're sleeping while we're talking, you can see it
It's
later.
gonna work. It's gonna work. Exactly.
I love
But
that.
I love the fact that girls who dance with me, of course they get to see now because we are, within Australia, but they've never had the opportunity to dance with me or Deirdre or Angie or
I know.
Amanda or any of those. So I speak of these people, and all of a sudden they'll actually be able to sort of like dance with them. I mean, that's just different. And also for them to see you as well, because every time we do a class, there's some mention of you there. So it's really beautiful to be able to put your face, your name, and your energy so they can actually understand why we have all chosen to go along the pathway. It's because of you, given our mission to live our lives in this beautiful way. So as you say, we dance our lives. And that is lovely. And even one of my beginners, I won't say, actually you should say young, she's probably my age. She actually said to me the other day, I get what you mean about this lifestyle thing now. Every day I get up, I think about, doing my little rituals and then doing some stretches, and then, Mondays and Wednesdays when it's dance class time, she says, my heart just is so excited and full. So she says, I get it. So thank you for passing those wisdoms forward, and in turn passing forward again. Very special.
Oh, thank you, and you're welcome. Thank you, and you're welcome. It's such a pleasure, and like I've said before, it's been so beautiful for me to be able to open up my space to allow you, the master teachers that I've worked with over the years, to develop and expand on your own. And what a gift and what a blessing and what gorgeousness that each of you bring to the dance. And that the dance brings out of you. It's give and take for sure that way. And so
isn't it funny I was just going to say, isn't it funny that we need permission to actually do that? Like, I think within us, we all have those gifts and that ability, but I think you just need somebody to give you the permission to say, hey, you got this, you can do this, I believe in you. And to have people in your life who can do that, to give you that permission.
Well, and two things about that. One is it's just who you surround yourself with as you grow and develop yourself and your creativity and your artistry and your businesses, is who you surround yourself with, that is encouraging and supportive and got your back and kick your ass. Right, with all those things.
All the things.
It's one of the things that I'm always saying to clients and such, is just like, who are you with? And if you're with someone who brings you down, okay, you gotta let go of that and step up. And I think that's part of this lifestyle and part of the support system, but also part of the energy that comes from moving your body and stepping into your own creative zone, right?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Yeah. I mean, your tribe is the most valuable thing in the whole wide world you can have, whether it be, family tribe, soul tribe, dance tribe, whatever it is. Tribe is your sense of belonging. It's your sense of everything.
It's a sense of belonging. It's creating everyday magic, but it's also about you showing up in your life, showing up and participating in all that you do and giving it your whole heart and soul and believing with your whole heart and soul. And that's that part of that lifestyle. And that, again, it's energy. It's all the energy of movement and creating that beautiful circle of swirling, beautiful goddess divinity we all create together.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I've kind of started to notice, is that a lot of the dance, our dance sisters, that have been a little lost, who might not have been doing GC, have been watching us from afar as to speak, and a lot of them are now joining us. So I feel that that's a really beautiful thing, that they've actually can see the that beautiful thing that we have, GC has, is that we all stand for each other, and we're so supportive and so loving and so giving, and we're there for them. And I think a lot of them are actually starting to see that. So I've got my little Travel Fest in the West coming up very soon, and there's beautiful women coming from all over Australia for that as well. So I mean, Nina, of course, is the headline act. Of course, anyone would come for Nina, but it's just so beautiful that.
Well, honey, they come for you too, damn it. So there.
I have that wonderful support. So, yeah, I really think that people are starting to stand up and really take some notice of what we're doing and the beautiful energy, as you're saying, that we create when we dance and when we gather. So the gathering is the perfect name for this, because basically that's what we do, is we gather and then we just feed each other's souls and our hearts, and they just get bigger, and there's more joy, there's more happiness in the world.
Well, and joy, I mean, ultimately, what is it about? It's about joy.
Yeah. Yep.
About
totally
happiness and living your full self.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and if that's not there, then why bother?
Then why live? Exactly.
So to bring, I mean, movement is just the epitome of all that we do and all that we are. But reaching into, I guess what I want to say is you guys, if you haven't met Richelle yet, she is just this queen of divinity. She reaches in and shares heart, soul, ritual, and magic and circle like no other. And so part of what you're bringing to the gathering is part of that, right? So a couple of the things that you're bringing, tell us what you're coming to the gathering with.
Well, the beautiful Amanda and yourself, of course, and myself are looking at doing a beautiful opening ceremony. So we'd like, of course, there has to be a ritual in that. So there'll be essential oils and dancing, movement, some meditation, some all sorts of beautiful things that we'd really like to bring in, just to show you a little bit, because Amanda, again, is another queen of the ritual.
Yes, absolutely.
Being, and I think the three of us together will create a lovely magical opening, and heartfelt, and just that beautiful heart opening to begin everything with, and also just allowing you to just find your balance and your grounding, so that when you step into all these other beautiful workshops that everyone has to offer, you're in this really gorgeous, comfortable.
Right. And I think, I think that's really important to acknowledge, is that what we want to do, because it's virtual and it's through this Zoom kind of thing, is that we want to create sacred space.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to take the time to make some sacred space in your home or your studio or wherever you are when you're doing this, whenever you're dancing with us. And I know Deirdre and I were talking about this in the last interview. I have this beautiful office space, and I have my stones, and I have my crystals, and I have my cards, and I have my, Palo Santo, and I've got my candles, but what makes it sacred for you? Where can you give yourself time and space to do this? Can you shut the door? Can you turn off your phone? Can you, block out this special time to study, to listen, to watch, to move, to be free, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think the most important thing is actually giving yourself the time, giving yourself that moment in time to actually just indulge in it. Totally for you, nothing else, no one else.
Right.
Just for you.
Yeah.
Which is the most important.
Because when you go to the studio and you take a class for an hour, nothing else exists.
Correct.
You're in that space, you're in that time, you don't even have time to think, you're just moving. And that's what we want to create here too for you. And you have to take the time to do that.
Absolutely. So you're responsible as well. So we're actually sort of giving some responsibility to the people who are in to be interactive with it
Yeah.
on their terms, on the way that they wish to do it. So however that feels. So if we can find some ways that you can use the tools that you prefer to use, whether they be crystals or smudging or using bowls, sound, music, dance, movement,
Right.
whatever it is, then you bring that in. And we're just there to basically guide you with some ideas, some feelings, some magic, some energy, just
I
to
love
get
it. Oh, I love it so much.
yeah.
And so,
So,
and then the class that you're teaching.
oh, of course, is my favorite. I'm doing Indian styling. I wanted to give it a fun name, but you know what? It's just Indian styling to me. So
It's so
um,
good. Ah,
it's something that I'm deeply, deeply attracted to. I have no idea why. There must have been a past life for me that I must have been some temple dancer doing some crazy stuff. But I absolutely love it. I love the feeling that it brings, the joy that it brings. I love the beautiful movements and those spaces you fill with these gorgeous gestures and I love everything about Indian styling. So
so,
it's quite different, I think, to some of the other GC stylings, or they're a bit more sort of folkloric and really, really grounded and earthy, whereas these have got more graphic kind of features to them, and I just like that, and a bit of shoulders and kind of a little bit of fun as well. So, and also you think of the beautiful gods and goddesses of the Hindi religion. And, I take a lot of inspiration from those and bring that through into my dance. If you think about how these beautiful statues take all these gorgeous poses and starting in a position like that or ending in a position like that, or actually thinking about what they were doing to actually get themselves into that position as a statue is just, it's
well, it's so
so much to
beautiful,
do.
and you incorporate that so well with our moves. I know when I first started doing that centuries ago, whatever it was long ago, um, I just love that feeling of connection with ancient rituals
Yes,
and,
yes.
and traditions and
Yeah.
love. I mean, there's so much, love with a lot of that, those moves. Um, but how does that reach you? Why do you think you're so connected with that?
Possibly because of, I think it's the ritual thing. For me, whenever I do an Indian dance, I have to start with a puja. So a puja basically is a blessing for not only the space that you're dancing in, but it's for all the people that are there, for yourself, for the ancestors, the teachers, everyone that came before us. So
Mhm.
it's almost like you're stepping into a really, really safe, sacred space and bringing in, calling in all of that ancient kind of goddesses and that we sort of that just touch my heart. So for me, it takes on a whole different persona, and the movements, because there's such beautiful graphic hand gestures. So that's why I kind of studied the mudras as well, and just incorporate a lot of that into it, because a lot of the mudras are speaking stories. So they're telling stories with their hands, telling stories with the way your body is positioned and how it shifts and how it moves. So um, for me, it brings music to life,
Mm,
because it's, Indian music has kind of got some of those really bizarre sort of sounding sitars and tablas and things that are kind of moving together. And when you bring that to life and bring the goddess within, that Hindi goddess within to life as well, it's just, there's nothing quite like it. My girls who dance with me, just, when I talk about Indian styling, I kind of get this whole thing going on, and they're so excited to do it. So for us, with Diwali coming up, Diwali is probably one of the most favourite festivals, which is the Festival of Light. So bringing that
mm.
beautiful light and the new beginnings, the new dawns.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Glorious.
And I think it's
Yeah.
also really important to acknowledge that uh, the moves we do aren't necessarily authentic, uh, but they're based on tradition. They're based on certain rituals, but we bring them into our flavor with love and compassion and integrity, right?
Absolutely. So it's inspired by
Yeah,
them, but not copying them or trying to imitate them. It's just basically using that inspiration to see what fills within our own heart and what comes out from there.
yeah, so beautiful. So,
Yeah.
oh, and you're just so good at that. I can't wait for you to, to show this to everybody. So, that's going to be great. Um,
Absolutely. And I'm also tribal grooving as well. So
yes,
come and
that's
do a
right.
tribal
Yeah,
groove
yeah, yeah.
class with me.
So we got
So
tribal grooves every morning to wake us up, whatever time that is for you. To
absolutely,
get us moving
absolutely.
and grooving because we love our tribal groups, which is a rendition of Global Caravan. For those of you who aren't familiar with tribal groups, it's a rendition of the moves that we do set to um, a little bit more physical fitness, a little bit more just dance fun without it having to be anything.
Yeah, it's a workout. Basically, it's a workout where you come along and for an hour you dance it out. There's no the technique is not as imperative in what we're doing. Of course, being dance safe because it is very very important. But it's more about just allowing your body to move with these things, and you'll find that the movements just become so much more easy on the body because you're not having to think about them. Basically, you're just kind of following along, and
Follow along, right? It's so good.
it's
So good.
great.
This is why
Yeah.
I love it so much. Awesome.
It's so fun. And like the majority of the women in my travel growth class, are older women who are actually just looking for a fun way to move their bodies, to keep fit, to have some fun because I like to do a lot of theme work. So even if they're just dressing up with a hat or whatever the case may be when they come in the door or a colour, it just gives them something to look forward to as well. So it's all of those things.
Well, and
Yeah,
and just really briefly, the reason that I developed tribal grooves way back was that I had dancers who did not want to be belly dancers, but they wanted to feel that feminine kind of movement without it having to be anything, without having to memorize steps or learn certain things, but to work out, to work,
exactly.
to
And
work
not to
out a
perform.
sweat, to listen to some groovy music, to dance for an hour, and then go home.
Absolutely. Oh, that's the best thing is that like if I've got people singing in the class, then I've picked a really good tracks. And
Oh yeah,
half the time
oh
a lot
yeah,
of
break out
music.
into song anytime.
Yeah. So and I think there's lots of free dance in that as well too. So people can actually use their own sort of whatever their body wants to do, whatever their mind wants to do with that. Yeah. So it's a great format. I absolutely love it and love that I've been able to start to share it around Australia as well and got some
Yes,
licenses and
love
teachers doing
that.
some
Love that. I
incredible
love it.
things.
And I love that
Yeah.
we get to share it with all of you guys out in the land of
Yeah.
the gathering.
Well, I
So,
think Misha's doing a class, isn't she? And Sienna and Jamie,
and Allie,
Lee, and myself. So there's the five of us. So that's
yeah,
fantastic.
so good, so good. Wow. Okay. Any last thoughts about the gathering or you?
I'm super excited for this to happen just because I think it's time for us to all come back together again and just check in with each other. And maybe people who haven't danced GC with us for a little while, it's great to call them back in. And people who may be interested, this is a fantastic time. Just because you're not a GC dancer now doesn't mean to say that you can't do what we're doing. We're
Right.
inviting everybody to come and play with us because you'll learn something from each of these amazing teachers. There's so many teachers, there's 12 of us. You'll get something from everyone, and what a beautiful gift that is. So even if you are not a GC dancer, then
Well,
please
and
come and
I
join
mean,
us,
even if you're
especially if you're
not
a
even a
GC dancer.
dancer, I mean, you can just come and
Exactly.
check it out. But there's
Totally.
something for everyone as long as you allow yourself to come in again and participate and show up,
Absolutely.
be present, and
We
join
give
us.
you permission to come and participate. We give you permission to come and do all these amazing things with us, to have some fun, to bring some joy, and to bring some more love to our beautiful
Yes,
dance
bring
world.
some love. Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Richelle, thank you for spending some time with me and sharing this little bit of goodness from the Global Caravan for the gathering and all that we do. I mean, it's not just about the gathering. It really is all that we do and all that we have to share, which is so beautiful.
And thank you so much for being our inspiration, our guide, our mentor, our everything. We are so lucky to have you and so grateful to have you. And for just creating this idea and bringing this all together, it's just such a delightful thing to do. So thank you
magic.
so much.
Thank you. It's just magic. It's just beautiful, powerful, living magic. And my friends out there, thank you for watching yet again. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me, message Richelle, or message any of the teachers in the gathering. Get registered. This is the first weekend in November. It's 5 days. And if you're in Australia, it's kind of like Thursday through Monday. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Wednesday through Sunday. But we're here for all the time. It's gonna be awesome. So until we can talk again, many blessings. Mwah. Love you.